From the west side of Chicago, it's time for the Gregory Struss Show, starring Gregory Struss. I'm Scotty Joe Vegas, inviting you to stay tuned for the next 30 minutes, because we'll talk about taboo topics. And now, here's a man who's a little taboo in his ragu, Mr. Gregory Struss.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, and welcome to the Greg Show. I'm Greg Struss. Cable casting on more carbs and calories than any of your other television hosts. Isn't that funny?
That's pretty funny. Yes.
So we're having a conversation before the show as we get ready in our deluxe accommodations out here.
Deluxe.
And I don't know, what were we talking about? I can't remember.
Well, we talked about a lot of things.
Well, we talked about how you don't like to talk to somebody when they're on the throne.
Yes, I don't talk to people when they're on the toilet.
So we really didn't engage in that conversation. But anyway, it's good to see you as well and everybody here in the studio. It's summertime here in Chicago.
Summertime?
Land, right?
Summertime.
And, one of these things that's going on in the news right now is Casey Kasem. His corpse is missing. His dead corpse is missing.
Who took his corpse?
I didn't take it. Did you?
No.
No. So his family ends up... I don't know, there's a big fight going on between the family, the wife and the kids. And I guess what happened is the wife of Casey Kasem took the body, took him out of the nursing home, and then he ended up passing away last month. He's the guy that did the Top 40 and Scooby-Doo's voice and all that other stuff. Or as Frank Sinatra used to say, all that mutter jazz or whatever. But anyway, Casey Kasem's corpse is missing. Yeah,
maybe it's the Waverton.
I don't know, but that's quite fascinating when you see that. I don't want to say it's fascinating. It's kind of sad because he's probably worth about, his estate's probably about $82 million. And I don't know, is he really dead?
It's not what you make, it's what they take.
That's
what I heard.
What they take, as they say. So, anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, Georgianne Struss just walked in. Let's hear it for her. Yeah.
Can we swing around here, Bob? Can we swing around? This is, who is this? This is Debbie. Okay, so Debbie is coming out to the show. I think this is the first time that anyone's had a dog out here. So I don't know if we're going to hold her for the show or not, but...
why do women get dogs?
Debbie, we have a German Shepherd at home and a big... brown lab.
Yeah.
You know Billy and Uma.
Yes.
And so Debbie has not been allowed to be around them because she'll probably get eaten. Yeah, so anyway.
Looks like a piece of fried chicken to me.
Well, she's like a Taco Bell dog. Okay. What do they call these? Chihuahuas. Yeah, something like that. So Debbie was part of is she shaking? She must be camera shy. So I don't know. Anyway. Great show tonight. We have, what did you say? I don't know. Are they ready in the control room for the word?
Are they ready in the control room
for the word? For the word?
Are you ready? Here topics? We go. And 3, and 2, and 1. Taboo topic!
All right. Thank you.
All right.
So it's summertime, kind of chill out here. And we're not, we're just doing some different stuff.
If I was a large woman today, I would have bacon, my oven would be totally hot.
Of course.
Because it would be from all the friction of the
So are you like doing a takeoff of Victor French, Sebastian Cabot from Family Affair? Do you remember Buffy and Jody? If you want to pull out, take a look at Scott's suit there.
Hi, Mr. French. How you doing? Yes.
He's got a
Why don't you come back to my chambers and I'll show you what's underneath my petticoat.
And then they ended up, I don't know who was doing it. Ed was like cutting the flour beforehand, and there was we ended up having the EMTs out here.
Yes, because he cut himself.
All right, I'm going to hand Debbie off to you.
I'll keep everybody entertained.
There we go. All right, I moved too fast for you. Anyway, taboo topics tonight. I think we're also going to take a look at a classic moment. Now, do you remember Pamela?
Yes.
And what do you remember about Pamela?
That she was an older woman who says, "Can you use discretion?" And I said, "What's discretion?" That's all I remember.
And they used to always sit in the green room. Mm-hmm. What was the green room?
I think she was high all the time, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I thought it was... Years later, I found out that it was probably more of a medication issue, yes. And I don't think we'll be sued. We'll probably get rid of her last name.
You probably shouldn't say Pamela. I probably shouldn't say that.
She moved away. She left her husband. They had a beautiful home in Riverdale. And you know how I met her? I ended up buying an air conditioner for $50. And then she's like, well, I'd like to work on your show. And I thought that was great. Anyway, I'm Greg. This is The Greg Show. And we are reinventing community television here in the west side of Chicago. And we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you.
I'm looking. Scott DeYoung, my friend for life for the last few years. How you doing, Scott?
Hi.
You're really helping me out tonight.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're doing a great job.
You're insecure.
I'm insecure. I'm looking at the camera, but I'm also looking at you.
You're talking to a camera. Look. You're talking to a camera.
Am I doing better with my microphone? What do you want to call it? My microphone?
Donahue crisis.
Yeah, the Donahue crisis. What did you think about that?
I didn't really care.
Well, you're a working man. You've been on the road quite a bit.
Yeah, I have been. You're talking to a camera. Look on the.
No, I'm talking to you right now because I don't want to look at that.
Oh, what? Excuse me.
I don't want to look at that.
Why?
Well, I'm not scared. I'm just a little rusty.
He's scared of his viewers.
How many of you agree with that? Yes? Can we say it? Do we agree? Well, Scott, I want to thank you. You've really been a lot of help tonight.
And I thank you too.
Thank you, Scott DeYoung. Scotty Joe, as we like to refer.
Debbie's with us, and Georgie's with us, and everybody else in the studio's with us, and this is The Greg Show, and we are on every Wednesday night here on Comcast and Xfinity in the west suburbs of Chicago, as well as on YouTube.com with the search words Greg Struss Show, 24/7.
24/7, global.
And it kind of reminds me of the old Lawrence Welk show. When I used to pitch on WGVU and WGVK TV back in the 90s, I did these,
Fascinating.
What do they used to call them? Pledgeathon, not pledgeathon, but where you'd have a break in the programming and then they'd come to you and then you'd be talking. And we had the time of our lives, so go ahead and call your PBS station. And then you would call the PBS station and we'd have the people on the phone banks and all kinds of stuff. And it reminds me of that time because Grandma Struss, Grandma Venus, Venus Peacock, whose mother, or I think her grandmother or mother, emigrated from Ireland. And anyway, so she was at the Christian Haven home in Grand Haven, Michigan, and they would always watch me on the pledge breaks. And it was great. It was a good time.
It must have been a big deal for her.
Yeah, I think it was fun. And then she used to talk trash about me because I pick her up late for her doctor's appointments. Do you know what my grandson did? He picked me up late. I heard her MFing me to the doctor.
Really?
Yeah. And the door was wide open. I almost left her. I was like, why do I have to put up with this abuse? So anyway.
Abuse.
Greg Struss Show on YouTube.com. I thought that would be the point.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, it's not that time, and I hope they're ready in the control room, because I like this. Some people have been saying, well, why haven't you been having guests? And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. I said sometimes, it's summer, want to do something a little different. I think sometimes we kind of get stuck into doing the same things over and over and over again, and I thought, well, this allows us to spend some time together and hopefully entertain the mass audience and wherever.
Do you feel the warmth from the crew?
Yes, I do. I think it's great when people are here.
They're like all my uncles that don't really like me, but I like them. They're good people. You know what I'm saying? They're wonderful people. My grandma just recently died.
I was gonna bring that up.
I'm sorry.
This was not. This was your mother.
My mother's mother.
Your mother's mother passed away.
Yes.
And
she was 95.
And what was that like? I mean,
I haven't been to a funeral since like 1979 for someone close. But the glass was half full. The guy who put her in the ground in the funeral parlor, I knew him. And he did a good job. And later he was like, how do you know that guy? And then the priest, who was a North Side priest, after I put my pallbearer gloves on the casket, the priest said I was naughty. He says, you're naughty. And I'm like, I'm not that way, mister. What's that? But he did, right at the gravesite, like right there. He's like, you're the kind of kid that gets me in trouble. Because I was smiling at the funeral because my grandma lived to 95, you know, in the old Catholic church that I went to. I went to grade school to St. Stanislaus in Posen, Illinois.
Stanislaus.
Stanislaus.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over the show.
No, but what happened with, how did your mother take the death of her mother?
She looked like she was okay. I mean, you know, my grandma would always yell at her because they'd take them 20 minutes to buy Raisin Bran, and they talked about my handicapped father and the eulogy that he shouldn't be driving and stuff like that, and it was a great time. I mean, I enjoyed being a pallbearer. I'd recommend it. Be a pallbearer at someone's funeral. You feel a little bit closer. You know, you wear the glove, you put the hand on the casket. You know, she was kind of heavy, but that was a top. I mean, she was a little bird, but that casket must have been 600 pounds. I mean, it was like, I felt one go to the side when I was like, "Whoa."
I wonder if people have ever dropped the casket.
It was out in Orland Park, and then what happened is the transmission went out on the van right there. We didn't have any transmission fluid right there as we were pulling out to go put her in the ground, and my brother's out there with a can of transmission fluid. What are you doing? What are you doing? So we had to put the transmission fluid in there, and everything was okay.
Well, here I am. I was 24 probably, and Grandma Venus, you know, had to be like she was in her 80s, and she told me, you know, I need some panty liners, and so I went to the store.
How old were you at that time?
I was like 25 years old,
you
and I'm going
you were not confident on women's products.
Exactly, and I'm thinking to myself, is Grandma still going? You know, having that ordeal every month, and
maybe the code word was panty liner, but she meant like, give me something that, you know.
No, she said that she needed, you know, that's what they were called, the panty liner, and I'm thinking no,
she needed something that like kept the inventory like a shrimp basket from Red Lobster, like.
So I go there, you know, go to the store. It was Lepping's, and it was a grocery store, and I'm wearing my Pizza Hut outfit. And I take this feminine product up to the register, and of course the girls are like, "What are you doing with those?"
Did you get like a stick of gum with it or something, or just strictly panty liners?
I thought the stick of gum would have a different connotation, and it probably wouldn't be good.
Because like when I go in and buy uncomfortable products, like I'll buy like a tractor battery or like a shovel, and yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. They were waiting in the control room for that. Because this is what I like. I love all these television shows. Wendy Williams does it, The View do it, and they all have like these hot topics. And we decided that we wanted to do something different. Now, these are topics that people normally don't talk about on TV.
Okay.
Okay. And what's it called?
Are we ready in the control room?
Ready?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Taboo topics, Peppy.
And that'll be coming up in the next segment. So, it's summertime in Chicago, which means oppressive humidity and mass shootings. I am not kidding you. That last week, a 10-year-old was shot and killed in the city. And last night, I'm coming back from school, driving down North Avenue. This is the far west side, Humboldt Park, and all of a sudden, I'm not kidding, it was 20 squads. And I had never seen cars coming this fast, this many of them, with all the blue lights, and then a couple turned this way, and then I see it had to be a female sergeant or someone got out of her car, she's like running, I don't know if someone got shot or what. But it's like, there are not enough police when everybody and their brother is like hanging out outside in this heat, causing problems. So what happens, you know, how does one get control of a situation that's probably uncontrollable?
Well, Mayor Daley, the original Mayor Daley, he said shoot to kill. So that was his thing of control, was, you know, they had to bring in the National Guard. And if it happens again, I don't think the city has the balls to pull the trigger.
Well, and then the other part of this is that there's so many different groups that say, well, it's racism, or it's this, or there always has to be a problem, and people always have to blame somebody. And instead of blaming,
they should all go see Larry Garrett.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go see Larry Garrett.
We'll get rid of it all.
But I don't really know what the answer is. Do you have to get into like a military state where people have curfew? But it's getting bad.
Well, I mean, just think if the whole neighborhood went. we're just talking about a small portion of people that are, are screwing up the other apples. You get imagine just one day everybody woke up and said, "That's it." Yeah. Well, that's why I moved. That's why I moved away, buddy. Hey, can we talk about? I have to clear up the grandfather thing and the whole.
All right, is this going to become like the psychic?
No.
Okay.
No psychic. But where my great grandfather Vegas's bar was on. What's the name of that street? It was on Halstead.
Halstead.
But it was years ago. That was called Calumet Park. And before that, it was called Village of DeYoung, which was my last name. I don't know if we talked about this or not, but hey, since
do we want to?
No. Okay. It was just I want to clear it up because it was called the Village of DeYoung bar. So,
I remember as we're talking about police, and now you're saying Calumet Park. I worked at the Riverdale Police Department in the 911 Communications Division for about 6 years, two different times. I was there at the beginning of 911, and then I was there at the end of 911.
Are we going to talk about when we took the car over?
No, we're not going to talk
about that. Okay.
Talk about that story right now. And I remember there was this marina at 132nd and Halstead.
That was the what's that called? We used to sell them antifreeze.
But they had boats.
They had boats. They had like a bar there, and all the kids would drink underage, and they would have the mystery punch.
So all of a sudden,
Skipper's Marina.
No, that was not Skipper's. Skipper's was like 134th or 132nd in Indiana. So anyway, I was working the desk on assignment, and I could have done the Joe Friday thing, but it was Saturday, and so they were hanging out. Some Chicago coppers were hanging out at the marina, and
is that what you call a cop? Is a copper?
That's a copper, yeah.
Is that a cop? Is that an in-house word, or is that an?
I believe it like when you're in the industry, they're coppers.
He's like a dick. Like a dick is a
detective,
okay.
right? But
so
if you're in the
that's
industry,
in-house,
right?
Okay, sorry.
So whether or not you're working in, as 911 operators, we're civilians.
I had a few people that came to the store that were dicks, but I since I'm not in the industry, I probably wasn't allowed to say it that they were dicks. So there you go.
Right, the detective unit. But long story short, this Chicago officer, I don't know what happened, but they had to arrest him. And they didn't want to arrest him. So they arrested him. They had to bring him in. And I'll never forget this. This captain comes in at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I felt like I was doing a Captain Kangaroo thing, like, "Good morning, Captain." And so the sergeant apologized to him and said, "I'm really sorry." But he was acting up, and we tried to do it in such a way that it's not going to affect his career, and I thought that was kind of cool. So there was some professional.
So it's a cover-up, is what you're saying?
No, it was not a cover-up.
I mean, let's say my uncle was out there and he would just get arrested. Would he be treated the same way as a cop?
Depends how he treats them.
That is true. Like when you get pulled over, turn your dash light on, right, and make eye contact.
And roll the window down.
And
but we'll get into that in a second.
Turn the music off.
Because coming up next, we have...
Taboo! Are you ready in the control room?
He just jumped. Ready.
Taboo topic!
When we come back in just a moment.
This is Jenny Jorgensen, right? This is Brian's daughter. He's our director for tonight. So, Jorgensen. Jenny, you do a wonderful job. Have a seat up there. Go have a seat. Anyway, here at the Greg Struss Show, we're glad that you're here. We have a post office box, and you can get in touch.
Okay, we are back. Thank you.
Man,
back to the Greg Show. Randy not here right now.
I wish Randy was here now. You know what I'm saying? I wish he was here. All the people that were on the laps of the Greg Show, where you could sit there and listen to their stories as they grow up and have kids and got divorced and got remarried again and all that stuff. Back to you, Greg.
Are you talking about your own personal story?
No, because, of course, this was the man of my first marriage. He was the best man, right there, ladies and gentlemen. And then what do you do when you have somebody that was your best man and you get married again?
I never knew that you got married because the last time I saw you, you and your then wife drove up.
Yes, Hannah's mother.
Yeah, Hannah's mother, Hannah Jo Vegas' mother. And
Junior.
Drove up to Grand Haven. You were passing through, and that's the last time I saw you until our reunion. But she was a very, very nice lady.
She plays the piano every Sunday at the Emmanuel Baptist Church in Wausau, Wisconsin. And when it came time to get divorced, the preacher went and seen her, so he didn't come and see me, and so she plays piano there. So there you go.
All right, time for, if they're ready in the control
room.
Ready
in the control room. Table topics!
Okay, so Scott's talking, I'm going to throw him this one. Scott's talking about his first wedding, and we were at his bachelor party.
Yeah.
And this guy who you played football with
Yes.
Was involved in a farming accident, which which did something to his manlyhood, shall we say? Venus. No, what it was.
I don't remember that. Oh.
Yeah, he said he was working with a thatcher, and the thing went through his pants, and I heard this whole story while I'm eating chicken. And he said, "Oh yeah, I don't have any."
Was he short?
I have no idea.
Was he the guy that the football fell off? He was in the Tangerine Bowl, and his helmet fell off, and then they had to put a steel plate in his head. I swear to God, his name was Keith. Can't remember the rest.
Right.
And he was like, "I'm from Louisiana."
But I'm at a party. Are you going to tell me that you lost your junk?
Well,
in a farming accident?
Now, are we talking about detectives, or are we talking about something else? No.
No, he wasn't even drunk.
He was that nuts.
He says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Greg, I lost my testicles in a farming accident."
I had a lot of beers one night, and I said to him, I says, Sheila looks pretty good, and everybody on the table says he's drunk. I mean, I didn't mean anything, but she looked,
Yeah.
I wouldn't pee on anybody else's yard.
Yeah. So relating that, I'm at work the other night, and this heavy-set man told me, "You look like you've gained weight," and I mean, how do you answer, like in my life, how do you answer that? So I'm like...
Say, I'm going through some problems right now.
I think you should have said, I just gave birth.
I just gave birth, thank you, to a baby. And
I got a dinosaur bone in the chamber that I'm going to knock out here in 15 minutes.
So it's not...
Yeah, so I just was wondering about this.
Okay.
And it made me think that, maybe I'm medicating myself with food right now. I'm eating, and I don't...
If you don't smoke, if you don't... What do they say when you do the thing with the screw? If you don't,
The thing with the screw?
Yeah, screw. But, I mean, when you screw. Screw?
A screwdriver?
Well, like people go for the flesh. You eat. You're in a cycle of 10 different things.
No, it's not what you eat.
It's what's eating you, of course.
How's that dog doing?
Okay, so anyway, as we move along here,
sorry for saying Struss so many times, Elmhurst.
I'm doing. I'm a DUI counselor, so and you just really don't want to get into this stuff. It's to me learning from other people and what they're going through, and then of course studying the behavior. So this young man comes to class the other day, and he said, "I got into some trouble the other day," and I'm thinking, okay, what happened? And he said, "I got pulled over with a gun," and I'm just like blown away because I
was
can't
he hunting? Was he on his way to Montana to hunt elk?
No, so he's a member of an organization, I believe. Organization.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys read in between the lines with whatever that is. It's where young men get together and do whatever they're going to do. The hustle, whatever it is. It's a
I didn't
group
know
of
if
people.
you were going
it's
for
like it's an organization.
A parade in May, or what we were talking about?
Organization.
Organization.
So he said, I had a gun offense. And I'm thinking to myself, when somebody's on probation, it's because you didn't get to go to jail. You didn't have to go to jail.
Correct.
It's a privilege to be on probation or supervision. So every month you have to go in, you report to somebody, of course pay a fee, and then do community service, and then at the end of it, you're free. No record. I mean, it's a record, but it's not showing that it's as bad as what it could have been. And then what does it say? And this is what I said to him. I asked him, I said, what does it say to the court when you pick up another case while you're taking care of this? So anyway, I was able to help him. We talked about it, and I hope whatever happens, whatever happens. But I hope that he's learned a lesson from it. kind of sad.
You know, guns, people, where I'm from, everybody has a gun,
Right. Guns don't kill people. The wrong people with guns kill people.
So does cancer.
Of course, but we'll talk on that
All right.
when we come back in just a moment.
All right.
All right, we are back here on The Greg Show with Scotty Joe Vegas and Taboo Topics. And
Are you getting it ready in the control room?
I don't know.
And in 3, 2, 1. Taboo!
Nope, I don't. He wasn't ready. Are you ready? Okay, now he's ready.
Taboo topic!
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, have I been shaking my leg tonight? Because I've noticed that I've been shaking my leg, and I don't want to shake my leg.
I really haven't been looking at your downer torso.
Okay. Guns. Is it the Second Amendment that people are fighting right now? Isn't it the right to bear arms? Is it the Second Amendment?
Let's call the First Amendment for people get mad at us and they watch the show. Oh no, I think it's the Second Amendment.
Okay, so now I guess there's legislation being passed with this carry.
Okay.
Carry and conceal. And getting back to this young man I was talking about, I said to him, I asked him, I said, well, I'm not going to ask you this question, but I know someone down the line is going to ask you what you're doing with a gun, because usually a gun is for one of two things, but it's really three things. I said it's either involved in a crime, like robbing somebody, shooting somebody, or as what a lot of people say, I want to protect myself.
Keep the peace.
But how many times in your life, in 46 years, have you ever been attacked out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. How many times
there's been
in
a
your
lot
life?
of times I shook a lot of people because I knew it was coming. Like when we had the store, people would come in and they'd have a gun underneath their coat. We'd all run out of the store and they'd go down and knock off the gas station. So it's kind of like you have to be a little streetwise. But for your average cracker, they're an easy prey. Cracker.
But do you think that it's kind of going overboard with folks saying, well, I need to protect myself?
I believe people should protect themselves.
Yes.
But in the same, if they don't have the guns and we ever get attacked, I mean, you got to have a gun. You know? When they keep on taking the Toyotas and buying the Toyotas and taking our American cars and putting it on the scrapyard and putting it over the Chinamen they own us. They own us. Keep on buying those Volkswagens.
I don't know if I
keep on buying those Toyotas.
They're all made in America.
And all them people sitting over there on Torrance, sitting there with the Fords going,
they're all made in America.
You're
Parts of
brainwashed.
them
I want
are
to talk
made
about
in
Hillary
America.
Clinton for a second.
No.
I want to
finish talking about this.
Because I just got one comment about her.
Go ahead.
You know what? I sat there and says, okay, would you vote for Hillary Clinton? And I sat back and I thought about it for a couple days and I says, why would I not vote for her? It's because she is the biggest. It rhymes with door because rhymes with door. Now hear me out. Okay.
Door.
You know why? Because she's stuck with Bill and she should have left him. And if she would have left him, I would have maybe voted. But she's that big of a door that she wants the job. That's terrible.
So you're saying that she married for the...
No, she stayed married because she wanted that. She knew she was getting that gig. Excuse me, did you say secret lesbian?
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. On that note, Greg Struss, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Taboo topic!